Welcome to the space station, folks. We're rocketing off to the red planet with a game that's more addictive than the dust Fremen have been sniffing. Let's do a tabletop deep dive. Board game critics have been praising it. It's one of my personal faves, stands number 7 on the board game list of all the board game lists. Let's look at what's inside, why it's so highly rated, why it might not be for you, and even the AI controversies surrounding it. Here's everything you need to know about Terraforming Mars. It's a strategic masterpiece where players are competing mega corporations trying to turn Mars from a barren wasteland into a new Earth. It's like cooking, but instead of recipes, you've got cards, and instead of food, you've got...
well,
Mars. Created by Jacob Fraxelius and released by Frax Games, a board game company based in Sweden and run by Jacob and his whole family. I'm not kidding, Jacob has 9 brothers and 6 sisters, and a lot of them are involved in the family business. I mean, when your family's that big, terraforming another planet might be just the only way you get some personal space. The inspiration for the board game comes from Mars Trilogy books by Kim Stanley Robinson, and as a fun Easter egg, all example players in the rulebook are named Kim Stanley Robinson. The mastermind behind Terraforming Mars holds a degree in chemistry and has spent his days as a high school science teacher. So while his students were learning about the periodic table, Jacob was busy bringing to life a game that would become a staple on tabletops around the world. First up, the author settled on 3 cornerstones of the game: oxygen, ocean, and temperature. And since 2016, players have been competing to make Mars inhabitable by raising these 3 variables. The game quickly skyrocketed to the top of the board gaming chart, faster than SpaceX Falcon 9. Alright kiddos, strap in, buckle up, because we're diving into the nitty-gritty. Terraforming Mars can handle 1 to 5 players, ranked best at 3, solo is like eating pizza alone. Okay, but not a full experience, and 5 is fine, but you might have to wait for your juicy turns a little bit more than you would like to. You all will be playing a group of ambitious CEOs, each trying to outsmart the others in a corporate cage match for Martian supremacy. Your goal? To be the ultimate architect of Mars, turning this dusty rock into a lush paradise. If I need to define the game in one word, cards! Cards can be green projects like planting Martian greenery, or events that are like surprise parties, sometimes fun, sometimes a disaster. And special cards are like the secret sauce that takes your game from Mac to woo! All these cards are played on the table in front of you, serving as a constant reminder how freaking awesome you are.
Yes, I built it! Yes!
After all players are done with their cards, all companies generate resources. Essentially, you set things in motion, let the gears turn, and then collect the goods. Rinse and repeat. During the game, all players are chasing milestones and awards. They are like Oscars of Terraforming Mars. Snagging these can give you a massive points boost, turning your mission into a blockbuster hit. So how do you win? It's simple. Get the most victory points, but getting there, that's the tricky part. Points will come from your terraforming rating, which is boosted by raising the oceans, temperature or oxygen, the holy trinity of Mars. You also score from the cards you played and the board elements like the forests and cities that you placed. Basically your entire Martian empire. The game wraps up when Mars is as cozy as a sci-fi Airbnb. The temperature's warm, oxygen's breathable, and there are enough oceans to take a swim in. If you're feeling adventurous, that is. And as satisfying as creating your own little slice of Martian paradise with cards and then comboing them into the ultimate space age ecosystem is, the most intriguing mechanism is tucked away in the Alternatives Rules chapter, like a hidden Easter egg in a video game. The game truly comes alive with a simple drafting mechanism. Getting a handful of cards to play is already exciting, but here's the twist. What if you can only keep 1 and have to pass the rest of them to your fellow players? It's like unwrapping an amazing Christmas gift, only for your parents to say, you can keep just 1 piece and share the rest with your siblings. It's a delightful mix of joy and frustration. It's a roller coaster ride that's so exhilarating and nerve-wracking that you just want to jump back in the line. Game's price of $60 might not make it the cheapest game, but it's a great value for the money, because when we talk about replayability, it's through the roof. Or should I say through the stratosphere? Terraforming Mars came out in 2016 and it's still a hit with fans, as refreshing as a cool breeze on the Martian surface. You'll be looking at a 2-hour game with the seasoned space engineers, aka experienced players, and after 3 hours if you're a newbie still finding your space legs. The setup is quick and straightforward as assembling an IKEA furniture. Just open the board, shuffle the cards and empty all the resource bags. You can explain the basic rules quite quickly for such a complex game. The cards have icons so you don't even have to read them. The only minor hiccup is the scoring for the Mars surface. But don't worry, that's not overly complicated either. It's making those crucial decisions that creates the complexity of the game. But with all that said, we all know that there's only one perfect thing in the world. So what are the pitfalls of Terraforming Mars? The player boards are about as sturdy as House of Cards in a windstorm. A small bump can turn your meticulously organized resources into a chaotic mess faster than you can say Martian dust storm. It's not an exaggeration to call it the worst part of the game. Even a sneeze could send your progress flying. And the art on the cards? Well, it looks like a 7-year-old just discovered Shutterstock and decided to go wild. Luck of the card draw can be a fickle mistress, and in the game of Terraforming Mars, she has a tendency to play favorites, which can lead to frustrated players. If you or your fellow gamers freeze like a deer in headlights when decisions loom like storm clouds, you may find downtime stretching out like the endless desert the Mars surface actually is. What should be a manageable 2 to 3 hour playtime could stretch out into a marathon lasting up to 5 hours. The game could overstay its welcome, kind of like that one friend who's still there after a party, while you're all engaged in the heated race to claim the prime real estate on the map, raising the magical requisites, awards and milestones. The core gameplay of engineering the heck out of the cards given to you is very solitary experience. And lastly, the hot topic in the board game industry, use of AI art. Fry's Games has disclosed the use of AI in their latest expansions, and they might have used it in previous instances, which has steered a lot of discussion throughout the fan base. What are your thoughts on AI art in board games? Let us know in the comment section below. You probably thought there's no way this guy is gonna talk about the expansions. You sweet summer child. The game has some fantastic expansions that can transform your experience. Prelude, shot of espresso to kickstart your game. Hellas and Elysium sets you up with new boards and content that feels refreshing. There's Colonies. This expansion allows you to move resources on and off the planet like a cosmic FedEx service. Turmoil expansion adds a political twist. Imagine Game of Thrones but with fewer dragons and more Martian real estate disputes. Okay, it's nothing like Game of Thrones, but intrigue can certainly rise as factions are fighting for control in the harsh landscapes of Mars. And Venus expansion brings new mechanisms, new cards and floaty things. I enjoyed these expansions in the order I just listed them, so you can check them out if you like. There are 4 more expansions in the works and they're promised to come out as early as this year. I'm already excited! In 2019, Legacy version where you could play a campaign and your decisions in one game could impact the next was rumored. Since then we haven't heard any news, so it's everyone's best guess what's up with that. In 2021, Terraforming Mars Big Box was released that includes 3D tiles and storage solutions, which by the way is non-existent in the original version, which kinda sucks. But my actual favorite add-on for the game is the double layered player boards. They solve my big issue with the game. If you're getting Terraforming Mars, these should come together like peanut butter and jelly. Here's a fun fact, the universe of Terraforming Mars extends beyond the game board and into the literary world. In 2021, author Jane Killick published a novel called In the Shadow of Deimos. And in 2024, Darusha Wham took over the writing duties and wrote The Shores of a New Horizon. So if you're itching to dive even deeper into the rich lore of Terraforming Mars, these books are your first-class ticket to the Red Planet's backstory. But that's not all, folks, there's also 2 spin-off games, Terraforming Mars the card game and dice game, which didn't find as much love in the gaming world as their big brother did. But Terraforming Mars the card game is worth checking out. The board game also has a digital adaptation, perfect for those who prefer to get their space fix on the screen rather than on the tabletop. In other words, there's a lot of content out there. But to really know everything you need to know about Terraforming Mars, you have to know this one thing. How does it make you feel? This game is epitome of progress and creativity. After 2 to 3 hours, you've crafted a unique little engine that's entirely your own. Sure, I might have lost by 1 or 2 points. Alright, let's be real, tens of points. But no one can take away the satisfaction of having built something uniquely mine. It's the same feeling you get from planting a garden, nurturing it, and watching it flourish into a vibrant masterpiece. Even if you don't win a blue ribbon at the country fair, there's beauty and functionality in what you have created. It's about the journey and that feeling of accomplishment. knowing that you have built a little engine that could. Is Terraforming Mars worth your time? It depends on your taste, but for me, absolutely yes. It's a game that offers thrill of strategic planning, the joy of discovering new combos, and the satisfaction of turning a dead planet into a paradise. That's all for today's episode of Deep Dive. If you enjoyed the journey through the stars, drop a comment letting us know which game you'd like to see us cover next. Smash the like button and subscribe for more out of this world content like this. Until next time,